Good day everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie you up a new leech pattern. It's basically a culmination of Brian Chan's Ruby Eyed Leech, Don Freschi's new leech pattern, little brown leech, and he's tied with some of the sparkle in the inside. I've kind of done the same with my ultimate leech where I tie that up in a particular way. I kind of run the mohair up and hackle more so. The sparkled body, so it's basically a culmination of the three of us come up with this, and this is what this fly has evolved into. And we'll go over the materials that you'll need to tie the fly, and you can tie it, you know, if you want to hang them, you can tie them with jig heads. You can tie them with like Brian had the ruby eye. You can put the bead in behind the ruby eye bead if you like. Your cone head. There's different ways. Play with it the way you wish. Basically going to show you the method to tie with it. So for the body, I'm just going to use some Canadian brown semi-seal, Arizona semi-steel. We'll start with a hook is 2220 Daiichi. It's a streamer hook, size 10. I'm going to use some extra small ultra wire for the body. Also going to use some rusty olive angel hair for the body and under the tail. And what else? So we'll use some 020 lead. And that's about it. Pretty simple, not a long list of anything here. And I'm going to use some red 8/0 thread to tie with. You can use 6/0 if you got it. So I put my lead on the front here to hold my cone in place. I got the shank pretty much loaded up with lead all the way. Not going to undulate too much. It's going to be a pretty soft undulation, so we can fish it really slow. And I think the key a lot of times in lakes is we don't fish slow enough. So that'll help it not to be bobbing around too much there. Get a nice retrieve with that. Okay, so I got my thread in place. I'll take it right to behind the cone. Then I'm going to bring in my angel hair. Cut some of this long off the side here. Good generous piece of that. Tie that right in at the cone. And then what I'm going to do, I got a rotary vise, so I'm just going to follow my angel hair all the way back, and that creates a very, very bright body. Now Don Freschi basically started doing that a while ago, I know, and inspired me to kind of think outside the box a little bit. So what I got here, I'm just going to tease back a little bit, and that can make the under the tail, get a little color in there. And you can always tease it out there. That looks a little better there. Thin it out. Now I'm going to use a dubbing brush to do my hackle. I tie in the extra small silver wire at the rear. It's soft. Throw a half hitch in here. Then I'll bring in my dubbing table. You can use a dubbing loop if you wish. You can use a dubbing block. The reason I like doing it like this is I can pull my semi-seal. It's a very nice blend. I mean, there's about, I don't know how many, lots of colors in here. So I pull it out so the fibers are lengthwise, and I lay it across the shank. I want to get it nice and long in there. I pinch it off when I'm pulling it out of my hand here. You can see I'm getting long fibers, and that's perfect. You don't need very little in there. So I'm just going to bring my wire over the top, hold my thread and my wire together, and I'm going to turn this the opposite way. I'm going to wrap. Seems to go on better that way. Turning backwards from the way I'm going to wrap when I go forward. That makes sense. And brush this out a little bit, thin this hair out much you can. Well, it's on the wire right here. And I take a little time with this. I could put that on really fast with this vise, but I want to make sure I stroke. I'm going to go ahead now, just like I'm wrapping a hackle, but I'm just teasing out the semi-seal as I go, pulling the fibers back, preening them back, and just taking wide turns like I do in my Ultimate Leech when I put the ice tub underneath. With this, we're using the angel hair body underneath. Don Freschi came up with that a couple years ago, and that is an awesome, very bright material. Angel hair is great. So I'm just going to tie my wire off right there, and then give it the Ruby Eyed Leech appearance. I'm using very thin thread here, this 6/0. I'll build up a little thread. You'll be able to see the red head starting to show up there now. Lots of turns. I want to kind of get that all filled up outside of the cone. So if I was using 6/0, it wouldn't take near as long to do this. Then I get slender bodies with this 8/0. Well, there it is. A little bit of that flash hanging around here. There it is. Come on. Now we'll just whip finish this. There. I'll throw a little bit of head cement, resin, or whatever you want to use on that. Make sure it's cemented good. Make sure this is all picked out with a needle. I don't brush this. I like to get a needle in here and make sure all my fibers are coming out straight. Nice and straight. Lots of length there when you do it with that dubbing brush. And I'll find myself an old toothbrush, comb that back, and it should cover all that flash I had coming out the back. That's exactly the way Don does his tail. Great way of doing it, but we're getting a lot of translucency there. Gets in the water. It's got all these different colors, and you can see the underbody. I like all the combinations that this fly has, and so thanks to Brian, Don, and myself. We put all these kind of ideas together, and I've just tied it up for you today, and hope you can get on the water and give it a try. So we thank you for tuning in today to Sports Fishing on the Fly on the Bench, and hope to get to see you on the water.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.